I think it's a fair comment for anybody thinking about, localizing a public service to say, won't we end up with a postcode lottery? Won't we end up with different levels of public service in different areas of the country? To which I would say, well, guess what? The labour market in Britain is already a postcode lottery. Your chances at work and your chance of a career is incredibly skewed depending on where you happen to be born and grow up in Britain at the moment. So if we think about the employment services that we would want in the future, I think that the way that this bit of the state should work should deal with that problem rather than exacerbate it. And, I think if you think about the journey that we've gone on in terms of devolution, particularly in England over the past 15 years or so, we now have combined authorities that have industrial plans, that have economic strategies, they have control over investment budgets so that they can try to encourage the jobs of the future and to kind of create good quality jobs in places where we need them. And that's the right approach. The problem that we have is in those plans and in those strategies, they have no real control over the employment support side of things. So they can create jobs but have no public service available, no public employment service available to try and help people get into those jobs. Of course, the DWP is there, and I'm sure they would say that they do a good job. But in my opinion, as I say, the British labour market is already a postcode lottery. So we need to have employment schemes that really understand and respond to the economic circumstances that people find themselves in, not dictated to from Whitehall. And I think if we look at the failure of Kickstart, for example, massively underspent. I don't think it underspent because the young people of Britain didn't need support coming out of the pandemic. I think it was badly designed. And yeah, my view is far too much Whitehall has dictated in the future we'll need local places to have their economic plan. And I think the support that we give people to understand the opportunities that are available to them and to chart a course for their own career, I think that needs to have much more of a local focus too. All parts of our country are in a different place on devolution, and we don't want a situation like what happened with public health, where it was handed over to local authorities, budget cut, forgotten about. Absolutely not. This will need to be done carefully in a way that makes sure that we are building the service. But that place-based approach, I think, is the right one. What does that mean for DWP nationally? Well, I think that DWP has already done some good things on becoming the home for evidence and analysis of the labour market. They've already established a data lab, and I would like to see much more of that, and particularly publishing evidence and analysis, so that as our labour market changes, we can try to discover much more about what can help people on their journey. I think that there's reforms that we could make about the information that we gather through universal credit and other things, so that we can understand people's journey much better and hopefully try to prevent unemployment for great lengths of time, or to prevent people getting stuck in cycles of low paid work in the future. And we can do that if we allow local areas to compare and contrast different approaches, and then allow DWP to understand what really works. I think taking that evidence-based approach is the right one. So